Good morning, guys, and welcome back to the YouTube. So it is, what even is, I have to check. So it's sometime in August, but it's Saturday, so just off on the morning walk, and I just thought I would start off with a few updates from myself, like obviously about dieting. And I think we're coming up to it'll be 4 weeks this weekend of me doing this diet, which means that I have like 6 weeks left to go. So last week actually was a slightly slower week for me, I won't lie, but sometimes these things happen, and sometimes the weight doesn't budge as much as what you would like, and it can, it can be moving, and then 1 minute it's just not wanting to move again. I have to just look at the weight on the scale sometimes and just laugh at it and just be like, I know you're just trying to do me again. Like, do you know what I mean? And just laugh it off, really. And yeah, of course, like, take actionable steps to get things moving again, but you can't get so attached to scale weight that it's going to affect your day, basically. It's just there to wind you up. So just keep that in mind. But I am, since then, a little bit down the scale. I'm like, how much? I was 70.9 this morning, so my average didn't really move much last week, but we are back moving again since I've had a food adjustment. So food has come down, and also had another little bump in plan as well, just a small one, but mainly just from putting the food down, and we've seen that movement again, which is really positive. Am I hungry? I am hungry. Do I like being hungry? No, I don't. I know that there are a lot of bodybuilders out there that just be like, oh, I love being hungry. Like, I love that feeling of being like, food focused, and I'm really looking forward to my next meal. Don't get me wrong, I like looking forward to my next meal. I don't like being stuffed full, but I won't lie and say that I like being hungry when I don't, because I think that bodybuilding does get that rap of, the more you want to suffer, the better, which, suffering does get you in shape. It absolutely does. There's no avoiding that. But at the same time, I'm not one of these people that's going to turn around and say, like, that I find it easy. I don't. But at the same time, like, I'm not exactly super food focused at the moment. I know that will come. I'm just like that. I have an inner fat kid for sure. But, I just do it because I have to do it. I do it because I want to improve, because I want to get better, and because I enjoy being a little bit leaner and a bit more comfortable. But, sometimes to get somewhere, you do have to put yourself through a little bit more discomfort. So obviously things are back moving again. I have upper body today. I'm actually seeing one of my clients is coming down to train with me today, Kaylagh. She is a good few weeks into her shoot prep now. She's got a shoot in October. So I'm going to do a little bit of an in-person check-in with her. I'm really looking forward to seeing how I'm training with her. Honestly, I love having clients come down to visit, and I'm always so grateful for them wanting to make the effort to fly over from Ireland to actually come and see me. So yeah, that's super exciting. So I'll probably document a little bit of that as well. I also have oh my God, my arm is getting so sore. I also have a voiceover from yesterday's glute session to go through in this video. So I hope that you'll be able to pick up a couple of tips from that as well to apply to your own training. And yeah, like today, just a standard Saturday. Just got some work to do this morning for clients, get back to a few messages, and then we're off to the gym. Also guys, by the time this video goes out, I would have already launched that I'm going to be doing a 10-week challenge starting on the 9th of September. So it's a couple of weeks away now. This is literally an amazing opportunity for you to get started on your fitness goals, get working towards those with support, accountability from myself. It will be a little bit different from my normal coaching service, but it will allow me to offer a lower price point for you guys. And you still get training plan, meal plan, weekly check-ins, form video feedback as well, and just an opportunity to create better habits, lifestyle, and improve your body composition. It's not one of those 10-week shreds unless you want it to be. If you do, I'm all down for that. But even if you want to just improve the fundamentals of your health and well-being and lifestyle, then definitely this is for you. It's not about who can get ripped the fastest, again, unless you are really wanting to push yourself, in which case, don't worry, I will be here to push you. So if you do want to get in on that, then please go to my Instagram and drop me a DM. All the details will be on a post on my Instagram, so definitely head over there and sign up if you do want to make the most of this incredible opportunity, which I'm really excited for. So if you do want in, I'll be very, very excited to work with you. Okay guys, welcome to my glute session. At the moment, I'm still following the splits of upper, glutes off. So obviously I'm training at the moment about 4 or 5 times a week, and I've been doing that for probably the past 2 years now. It's a really good split for me to be able to get as much volume on my lower body as possible and also improve my upper body at the same time, but it's just not as much of a priority to me to grow my upper body anymore, because it doesn't need to be a whole lot bigger, but I have needed to be overall a lot denser. But the main thing that I've needed to improve for my last competitive season is just the depth in my glutes and the density in my glutes. Now I'm at a point where I suppose my legs don't need to really grow anymore, especially my quads, because they are a little bit more dominant. So I probably am looking at another training adjustment soon enough where we're going to strip away like a lot of the bigger movements like leg presses, anything that does engage a little bit more quad, just to try and make sure that they pipe the fuck down as much as possible. But look, like I think that this split really works well for me, and I'm sure it would for you as well if you do want to improve your glutes a lot and get in a good bit of volume to try and get those to grow. Now, I started off this session with a RDL, a band around the hip RDL, and that is a really good variation of a Romanian deadlift to do if you want to get a little bit more glute engagement there, just because it essentially means that as you push your glutes through and your hips through at the top, you do have to work them a little bit harder versus, say for example, if you're doing a normal RDL, a lot of the tension drops off your glutes as you go to push them through the top, and it's something that I really do recommend you try. They are a little bit tricky to get a hold of when you first start them, but with practice and not chasing load, you will find that, oh, okay, right, these actually do really light on my glutes as long as you're not chasing loading, as with anything. I actually did start this session off, to be honest, with abductor and adductor, but only a set of each, so I didn't include that because it's a little bit more boring, and yeah, like I just don't think that that's what most people really want to see. Maybe next time, but I actually start off most of my sessions with that, literally just to get my legs firing and get the glute med working, and also just get the adductors firing as well, but I'm not necessarily looking to grow my adductors anymore. So after the RDL, I actually went on to a Smith machine hip thrust. I really do like the Smith machine. I feel like you can really lock in your positioning. I do use a heel wedge for this, and I do feel like the heel wedge just puts your hips or pelvis in a better position so you can get your glutes fully short at the top, so technically it improves your range of motion, and I personally feel like I can get a much better connection and feel less quad doing these, because remember, even though it is more so like a glute movement, you can't totally isolate your glutes when you're doing them, so anything that I can do to create better connection I will, because I do find sometimes my glutes are a little bit like quote unquote numb and I struggle to find a connection there, probably why they're still probably my weakest body part, even though I need them the most. But here I'm just focusing on, like, again, just trying to get the range of motion exactly as I need it to be, focusing more on the top part of the range of motion, because that's kind of where the focus needs to be if you want to keep the engagement on the glutes versus seeing anything else take over and just trying to push the hips all the way through the top. After this, I moved on to a glute focused leg press. So I use the hammer strength here. This particular session, I'm actually programmed to do the Arsenal, but to be honest, I do really prefer the hammer strength. I do have this in another session. I do usually do the Arsenal, but to be honest, like, I just feel like I can focus more on my glutes with this particular leg press variation, and I do really like the hammer strength. I have actually stripped this of sleeves just for the moment, so I'm just going to really work on trying to keep the engagement in my glutes. Obviously still pushing myself hard, still being really accurate. I'm not like pussyfooting around it in terms of just trying to pull the loading right back just to quote unquote like try to feel the burn in my glutes. Like, that's just not what we do, but I do try and think about my glutes as I'm going through each part of the movement and try to keep the tension there. So here, again, like, I'm literally just trying to take a slightly higher stance and a narrower stance for glutes. You really want to allow the glute to wrap around your hips. So if you were to go really wide here, you'd actually start to restrict the range of motion in your glutes. I think that's a really common misconception, that if you are doing a wide stance or a sumo stance, that you're going to get more glutes, but realistically, like, that's not the case. So obviously here I've gone with a slightly higher, narrower stance, obviously still taking these right down into my chest, pausing at the bottom, controlling the change direction, because that's often what I see is people just not really able to change, like to control the change direction at the bottom and like rushing out the hole, whereas that is actually where your glutes are going to work the most, so spend time in that part of the range. Now obviously here I had 2 sets. I've had a slight adjustment to my training volume because I've been feeling like a little bit like draggy towards the second half of my session, which should be the case because obviously I'm still very early days into dieting, but we have just adjusted training volume just so I can keep strength in a good place, the performance in a good place, and I can recover properly, because obviously with Stairmaster as well, and training legs so often, my legs are taking a bit of a beating, and they are the main body part that I need to really make sure that I retain the muscle and fullness. So I have had a slight adjustment here, but overall, I think that it's just going to be a matter of just trying to continue to push as much as I can, and just if I do see strength drop off, I'll just have to work with the intensity, as much intensity as I can possibly work with, and keep things as accurate as possible, and not try and continue to chase the loading too much as to like my previous numbers when I was at my heaviest, because I'm already like 6 kilos down, so that's pretty substantial. And after the leg press, I've actually gone on here to do a glute med kickback. So with these, I really focus on like kicking back and out to the side, so I angle my body a little bit. I push with one hand, pull with the other, create as much stability as possible, and really think about dragging my foot away without, I suppose, like arching my back at all, so my back stays in a totally neutral position. And then I moved on to a lying hamstring curl. So here you can see I used the little block because it does feel better in terms of the way it puts your body in position for this machine, but it is an absolute pain in the ass to kind of try and keep in position, trying to get your knee in alignment with the pivot. So you can see I've just jumped up a couple of times. I've moved the actual block, and I've had to reset, which is absolutely nightmare, but is what it is. It does actually feel good once you are in the movement. So here, just making sure that my legs are like train tracks, hips to knees to toes, in alignment. I'm having a slight push in with my toes just to make sure my feet are neutral, and really dragging my feet up towards my bum without hitting the roller off of my bum. That's really important, and obviously keep my core nice and tight, my chest is up, my head is in alignment with my spine, pulling my elbows down towards my hips, and just really milking each end range. So that is technically my glute session, like a bar, obviously the first couple of movements, but I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that you have picked up a couple of tips along the way. Obviously, if there's any other questions you have on training, please don't hesitate to comment below or drop me a message on Instagram. Okay guys, so I'm just here with Kaylagh now. We've just done a in-person check-in. She is looking absolutely on the money at the moment. We still have a little bit to go, but we've got the time to do it, so we're on track. We've already pulled off a solid like 5-6 kilos already, which is absolutely wicked. And she's actually feeling really good, which is always positive. Energy is coming down a little bit, but we expect that. Like, that's just gonna be a part of dieting and doing a prolonged diet and actually trying to really push yourself, but it's definitely coming along really nicely, so I'm absolutely buzzing. We're actually going to get some upper body in now, so I'm looking forward to that. I'll not record the session because I've already done like a voiceover for lower body the other day, but we'll definitely just focus on going through a few form tips, make sure that you're still training nice and hard, because that's another thing as well. When you're doing like a prep and you're dieting, you have to make sure that you retain your training performance. Like, that's so important for retaining muscle mass. Otherwise, you just end up withering away to nothing, just having no shape, which no one wants, to be honest. So, yeah, we're gonna get after it now. Woo, we love it. Okay, let's do it. Have anything to say?
Absolutely loved it.
I didn't pay her to say this, by the way. It's her own opinion. Back from the gym, and I've had my post-workout. This is actually meal 5. So as you can see, the carb-free meals are in, well, on an upper body day anyway. So this is only like 125 grams of 5% mince, and then 100 grams of veg. So I have a mix of green beans and mushrooms for that, and obviously salted. So I'm gonna get this in now because I'm starving. Had a really good session today with Kaylagh. Honestly, she trained really, really well, so I was buzzing with that, because obviously when a client starts working with me, I start seeing where their training is at when they actually start sending over their first like few sets of form videos, and seeing the improvement from then until now has been incredible. So just being able to see someone's development, whether that be in training or within their physique, and their confidence grow both in and out of the gym, like, it's just the most rewarding thing. So we had a really good upper session. Obviously I had a look at her as well, spoke about our plans even up to post-shoot, like how she was going to handle like the post-shoot period, because I think that any time like someone comes out of a diet, that can be quite challenging. I think that it really goes a long way just to give someone reassurance in advance as to how their like post-diet period or post-prep period might look. So I felt like she definitely felt a bit more confident after having that conversation, as well as talking about some future plans, which is super exciting, and I'm sure that I will share more about that soon. But in general, great session. Definitely felt like I progressed a couple of numbers today, so I was very pleased with that, especially considering that for upper body, you will start to feel that as weight starts to come down, you drop off stability like quite quickly. So any pressing movements do take a bit of a dive, without use of a better word. So I was happy with the pressing today for sure, and we are just going to switch off the day now. That means shower, sit down, turn some Netflix on, get the creamies ready, and tomorrow I have a rest day, low food and a rest day, cardio in the morning, and we will just repeat the same process again. What I will do soon is an update in terms of just taking you through my physique at the moment, just what I'm working on, where we're currently at, and do a bit of a breakdown of that, so watch out for that coming soon. And of course, thank you so much for watching and supporting the channel. If you did enjoy this video, please like, share, subscribe, comment if there's anything else you want to see, comment if you would like to get involved in the challenge, or drop me an ATM on Instagram. And yeah, I will see you in the next one.